The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Auto repair with personal care. We know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. We'll treat you right.
All right. Now, see, I will treat you right, too. But don't bring your car to me because I don't know what I would be doing. I have a butter knife, and I'll probably try and fix it with that. So, see, just because you treat people right doesn't mean you know what you're doing, right?
Right.
But you happen to have both of those things, the treat it right gene and the know how to do it gene.
Yeah.
They're in your genes,
you
know.
know how to do this, Gene.
But this is
I
nothing.
can't do this. Yes,
You could. You know how long it would take to learn this?
Me, a lifetime.
No. How long would it take you to learn how to butter a piece of bread?
A lifetime.
No. This is as
No,
easy.
I mean, you guys sit. Look at. You got 3 computer screens
Yeah.
and a board.
Thank you.
Look, I'm serious.
It's Disney World. It looks like there's something going on over here.
It looks like there's something going on over there. I see this one computer screen. And it's got like 47 little boxes on there, and you got to know exactly what. Yeah, see, look at all that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just a genius, right?
You're amazing. You ought to see what happens in this studio.
So I meant to tell you something about my car. You sold me a car that's got something magic in it.
Okay.
Are you ready? I thought this was magic. Listen to this. So I've ever shared with you that I'm kind of a stickler about measuring distances. It's kind of a quirk.
No.
Okay, I am.
Okay.
Because I always want to know how far are things. So I always measure how far. Okay, so Queen of Peace Church is like a big landmark. So it's 3.7 miles from my home. Okay? All right? So if I forget to set the odometer to 0 when I leave, then I say, oh, man, I forgot to set it. So I say, well, let me hit it right now. And I'll be at McDonald's, and I know that's 1 mile. See? Because I'm a stickler about this.
Okay.
But if I hold it in long enough, it'll tell me how far I've driven. Did you know that?
No.
You didn't know that? Okay. So for example, and I figured it out. I thought maybe it was just God like playing with me, like saying, okay, here's the number. Instead of 0, you've actually gone 4 miles. I was, whoa, how does it know? Well, I kind of tested it. So whenever I shut off the car and turn it back on, if I hit the tripometer to 0 and then just keep my finger on it, it'll pop up to whatever distance I've gone since I last started the car.
I did not know that, Larry.
Oh my gosh! I would go for a ride in my car.
Your brains, your miracles.
So we're out in the desert with my brother Bill because we went to see my brother Bob, who had an accident and has passed away. But we're out there to take care of some of his stuff, and my brother Bill has a rented car. Did I tell you about this one that stops when you at a red light?
No.
Oh my gosh! This is a Malibu, I think.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, the engine stops?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the engine, I said to him, I said, boy, this is a quiet car. We're at a red light. He said, no, the engine turns off.
Right.
So the engine turns off. He says, yeah, when you lift up the brake, it starts again. Yeah. Oh, like a golf cart.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let me show you something. Push the odometer and hold it in. And he does. And it goes to 0. I said, okay, just keep holding it. Nothing. So my car, 2005 is mine? 2005.
Okay.
And this was a brand new Malibu. So mine is more advanced than that new one.
Well, maybe in a instrument cluster feature, yours has something the Malibu doesn't. But yours doesn't have auto stop.
So why is that a feature?
Auto stop?
Yeah.
Why would that be a feature?
I mean, why did they design? Doesn't that wear out the starter?
No.
Doesn't the starter have to work a lot, especially if you're in traffic?
You know, you got me baffled. I'm trying to rationalize why they do. I guess saving fuel is the biggest thing.
But if you have a car that the starter's on the fritz, you don't want to shut that off.
Well, here's the other thing. Okay, so stop and think about this one. The engine shuts off.
Right.
And you got the air conditioner on.
Right.
And it's still blowing cold. How can this be? The engine just shut off.
Well, I think I know the answer to this one.
Well, I know the answer, but I'd like to hear your perspective.
Oh, really? Well, in this car, the air conditioner button had a yellow light and a green light.
Okay.
And we were trying to figure out, now, what is the difference between yellow and green? Green means it's going to go off when the engine goes off. Yellow means it's going to stay on, but the engine also stays on. Correct?
But if you're at the traffic light, does it not continue to keep blowing cold?
I don't know. I don't remember.
It does.
Yeah?
It does. Now here's you want to talk about a starter? What happens to the electric AC compressor when that goes bad?
I don't know. You tell me. What would happen? I don't even know.
I don't know, but I don't know how much money you got in your pockets, but you better check it.
Okay, I have a question about air conditioners because we were in the desert, right? In Florida, we take moisture out of the air to cool it down, right? In the desert, do they put water into the air? Mm-hmm. Oh, they don't. It's the same. Everything's the same.
It's not really about moisture that we're taking out of. Okay, we're actually removing heat. We're taking heat out of.
So all that liquid that drips out of your car when you
it doesn't leak near as bad in the desert because it's so much drier. There's not as much moisture in the air.
Okay. Ready for the phone?
Let's go. Let's go to the phone.
And today I do have some other car features you might not know you have.
Okay.
I got an article off the internet. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, the start-stop engine was indeed a fuel-saving idea. And one of the companies has an intercooled turbo, and that becomes a problem on these start-stop engines because it tends to overheat the turbo when the engine is off.
Over my head. Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah.
No, Matt knows.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
You're talking the same language as Matt.
Yeah. I heard that on Larry Perry's show, and he was he was trying to figure out why they would do that on a turbo car. Anyway, have a good morning, all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. So explain that to me.
Well, one of the things that I've done, I've actually, it's a radio show, so a picture's not worth 1,000 words.
We can put a picture on. We got a video.
I don't have the picture with me. It's in my toolbox. But back in the day,
can I download it? Is it somewhere?
Well, no, it's actually an old Polaroid picture.
Oh, okay.
And back in the day, we created a twin turbocharged. It was a 455 Oldsmobile motor in a 1980 Chevrolet pickup truck with Lucas injectors. So it was port fuel injected, distributorless ignition, twin turbocharged truck. One of the issues that we were having was the oil. The turbo was getting too hot. The oil was getting too hot. So what we actually did was we incorporated a engine oil cooling system.
Wow.
Just for the turbo.
You invented it.
Well, we did. Well, it was all the stuff was invented.
Okay.
We just all kind of put it all together on this truck. And then we had it also to where after the truck was run.
So you designed a vehicle, basically.
Well, we designed. It was an engine management system that we actually designed ourselves. And but we had it to where when you shut the engine off, the electric oil pump would continually run oil through a cooler for 5 minutes after the engine was shut off. So like what he was talking about with this intercooler and the turbo thing, there would be a way, because we did it I think we did this back in 1985. We actually created this management system.
Wow.
I took pictures of it. It's actually pretty cool.
How old were you then?
I was a young man. I was probably in my early 20s.
You're a prodigy, genius or something, right? Whatever the word is.
Yeah, genius. That's you know how many times I've been called a genius in my life?
Huh. How many?
This is probably the first time right here on the radio show.
You have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with the genius. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, everybody. It's Sonny calling.
Hey, Sonny.
One of the things I've always been told was if you have like a turbocharger or even a supercharger that you don't shut the engine off. You let it idle for a while the turbine spins down and the thing actually does cool off a little because you're not running that hot exhaust. You know, the exhaust isn't as hot as when the engine was running. So I was always told that you leave that engine run for, I don't know, a few minutes, 5 minutes or something like that until it cools down a little. But that's what I've heard about with turbos. And, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's a diesel or or a gas-operated engine. But anyway, it's amazing what they're doing with cars today, and you know, it's common now to have either a turbocharger on a four-cylinder and all this other stuff, and it you know, it's really come a long way. But one of the big things is I think a lot of cars today have to have what they call auxiliary oil coolers for your engine oil to help keep the temperature down in a lot of parts, because of the oil also cools down certain areas in the heads and stuff like that, or maintains a standard temperature as close as possible. Well, I was just wondering what you think about that, and I'll hang up and listen. Have a great day.
Thanks, Sonny. Yeah, like Ford is, you know, the big thing now. You know, they're talking about these trucks, the F-150s, and they got the EcoBoost systems, and you know, they've taken this technology that we've had for years and years and years, and they just renamed it. You know, it's an EcoBoost Ford engine is nothing more than a turbo. The turbos are gone. We're not going to answer that, but the turbos have come back in a huge way, and they actually are. The little four cylinders, like he's saying, now you get these cars that get incredible gas mileage. You'll get 20, 30, well, not 20, but 30, 40 miles to the gallon. And they got all the power that they could possibly need in this little car, you know?
That's amazing.
And we are actually starting to see some of the downfalls of some of this stuff, like failures. You know, a turbo is oil cooled.
Yeah.
So we're having some issues with people not servicing, keeping their car properly maintained, and the oil feed line that cools the turbo units.
Yeah.
A lot of them make a bend, like it's a steel line. I actually got one in my car, and it's just a real small little. It's smaller than like a straw, and it's steel, but they'll have a bend in them, and people are not servicing their cars in the bend area.
Yeah.
The oil's kind of getting
clogged up.
Oh,
okay.
And that starves the turbo unit from oil, and then it burns it up, and that's an expensive.
Maintenance is the message there, right?
Yes.
All right, you do have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Hey, good morning, Matt. Good morning, Larry.
Hey, Joe.
Just to tag on to that turbo issue, I mean, Ford Escort now has a four-cylinder engine, and Ford Racing gets 400 horsepower out of that thing. Golly! And to tag on to what Sonny said, I remember the old diesels, you let it idle for the turbo to spin down because there's no oil going to it if you shut the engine off immediately, and that would cause a problem. But my question is to Matt, it's like you talk about the eco engines. You come to a stop sign and the engine literally shuts off and the starter restarts the engine when you touch the gas. It's like, that's a lot of work on these starters. I mean, are you seeing a failure rate with the starters on these new engines? I'll hang up and get the answer, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. No, I haven't really haven't seen too much starter issues, you know, as far as wearing out the starters yet. But a lot of the stuff doesn't have that, you know.
They've only been around a short period.
Yeah,
right?
but you know, we still see some with quite a bit of miles on them and stuff like that. We're not seeing. It's not like you know. Oh yeah, we're stocking these starters or anything like that.
Right.
Matter of fact, I can't think of one that we've even put on yet. So it's kind of.
But the engine shuts off at the light, even if the air conditioner is on. I'm confused. How could the air conditioner run without the engine?
It's an electric compressor.
Oh, okay, and that's the problem.
Well, it's another. You know, it's like a lot of these steering gears now are electric, so you don't have a power steering pump anymore. You have an electric steering assembly. So we're slowly going away to where, we're not electric water pumps, electric steering gears, electric, everything's going electric, but we still have that combustible engine, electric air conditioning, which is a lot more expensive than a belt-driven type compressor.
So you want to hear some of the things this article says we might have as features that we don't realize we have. Okay. A road condition indicator. It says the next time you're driving in winter, you may notice an odd dashboard light that looks like a road with a snowflake on it.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. Do I have that? No. Okay. I wouldn't need that because I don't drive in the snow. What does it do? Tell you the temperature of the road?
No, I think it's what it's saying. It could be icy conditions.
How does it know?
I think that's more based on ambient temperature. They'll have an ambient temperature sensor.
Oh, okay. Let's see. We might not know that we have a drowsiness detector.
Wow, because that would smack me around pretty good. I need a car with a drowsiness detector.
I do too. I should not be driving sometimes.
Yeah, me either. And I only live like 4 miles from the shop, man. It's struggled just to get home in the evening.
So what does the drowsiness detector do?
Does it vibrate the seat or something? Does it say? You start dozing off and the whole car starts shaking?
It says the makers include Audi, Mercedes, and Volvo. It says a coffee cup icon will pop up on your dashboard if it thinks you're sleepy.
So you need to stop and get a cup of coffee? It shoots caffeine out of the instrument cluster into your mouth.
Wow, the insurance company's going to use that, Your drowsiness indicator came on when you had that wreck.
That's right. So your premiums just went up 22.5%.
Yeah, I bet you that's part of it. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Morning, guys. Say, Matt, last week my wife drove down to Orlando in the middle of love bug season, and I used your idea with that WD-40. That works out pretty good. She come back. That car looked like it went through a. I don't know what it looked like, but those little suckers. They just wiped right off.
There you go.
No problem at all.
There you go. Very good.
That was a great idea. So thank you very much. And that it's going to be twice a year. I guess I'll have to have a lot of WD-40 around the house.
That's good.
Okay, thanks again for that. Thanks again for that idea.
No problem, buddy. Thank you.
Bye.
So, among the other things, I'll just kind of read them to you because storage. A lot of you might not know you have more storage space than you have.
I know where all my storage space is.
A conversation mirror.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Is a conversation mirror. I wonder if that's what I would use to look at the kids sitting in the back.
Lots of minivans and some crossover SUVs have a small convex mirror mounted overhead that lets the driver keep an eye on the goings-on in the back seats. You have one of them?
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
A grab handle above each door.
We don't call them grab handles, but yes, I have those.
Hooks. A big space in the back of an SUV often feels like a free-for-all. Groceries, sports gear, and you have a hook back there somewhere.
Yeah, yep.
Says, did you ever notice the little plastic hooks back there, a couple of feet above the floor?
Yeah, and usually you have
Do
a little
I have
net. You might. And usually you'll have like a little net that you could actually...
I've seen the net.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in mine, but I've seen it in other people.
Yeah.
I have a little storage space back there that was
Yeah.
Let's see, the tire pressure monitor.
Hate them. Yeah, but yes.
You hate them.
I hate them.
We had this on the rent-a-car we had, all 4 tires. Because we were driving down some rough desert roads. I mean, a long distance, too. And I kept thinking, we're going to get a flat for sure. But it didn't. No flat, and it did fine.
But your light was on? The TPMS light was on?
TPMS? No? What does that mean?
The tire pressure monitoring
system. No, it was not on.
Okay.
No. The adaptive cruise control.
Yes.
What is that?
Adaptive cruise control. Like if you're cruising along and you're coming up on somebody, it will automatically back off.
Oh, wow.
You don't have to hit the brake or anything. It'll just automatically.
That's a nice feature.
Yeah.
I was almost rear-ended by a guy who I believe on I-75 years ago was falling asleep at the wheel with his cruise control on because he was just coming at me without stopping. It was at nighttime without slowing down. I pulled into the emergency, the right-hand lane that's not really a lane, and he just went right past me. And I said, I was with Robin. I said, that guy would have hit us if I didn't pull over like that. I just don't, I mean, it was just in a heartbeat. I know. That would have been unfair if I got hit like that.
No, I liked it. I mean, you'd have been better off hitting a cow again.
I hope I don't ever hit anything again. Anti-lock brakes.
Yeah.
You might not know you have them, but from what you said, we all have them nowadays, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
You might not know you have stability control. Oh, that's the one with the you might not know you have... Oh, wait, stability control. Yeah, we didn't talk about that one yet, right? What is that?
StabiliTrak.
What does that do?
Let's see. StabiliTrak. What's that? It works very... It's in conjunction with analog brakes. So it a lot of the same sensors, a lot of the same...
it says since 2011, all cars in the U.S. have them.
Mm-hmm. They work off the same type of feature. So what will happen is if the car starts sliding, if it starts picking up that one wheel is like 0 miles per hour, it's got sensors on all 4 wheels, that it'll activate, like a lot of times the transmission or the engine will start stuttering to keep it from sliding. It's kind of
that's cool.
It's hard to explain.
So that might be what saved that guy that was almost in a wreck out here in front of the mall.
It could have been.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty. Here's the thing. A lot of us have these features on these cars, and we don't know what it means for analog brakes to be activated. I mean, have you ever purposely activated your ABS?
No.
Okay.
But you told me that if I tried it, like in the empty Sunday morning when I'm here in the parking lot, that I wouldn't even be able to tell, right?
No, you would be able to tell once it's activated because it does some really crazy stuff. And I think it's good. I mean, I got to go to the GM Training Center in Jacksonville, Florida, and go through all kinds of different conditions, and activate these things and actually get familiar with them. And I do that, like if a car comes in for a brake job or something like that, or StabiliTrak issues, I activate it and make sure everything's working. Not just depending on whether or not a light is on or off.
That's why it's good to have you drive the car.
But it would be good. I'm getting texts now. I think it's good for everybody to understand, because you don't want to freak out. If you hit the brakes and it goes into analog mode and you start feeling this weird stuff and let off the brake. You know what I'm saying?
So it's good to be familiar with what it does.
Right, to what it feels like, how it feels when it's activated. That could probably even make that system that much more. Because I have a feeling people do that. They'll hit the brake, and all of a sudden the whole car starts vibrating and shaking.
That would be
They let their foot off the brake because they
me.
think something's wrong.
I know. Yeah, you're right. We should that should be part of driver education, right?
It should be.
Hey, by the way, I wanted to tell you something real quick before we run out completely. The brother who just passed away that I went out there for, he lived in Southern California, but he was moving to Arizona. He had bought property there years ago, and I never knew anything about this town. It's called Yucca. I think Google says it has a population of 126. There's nobody out there.
Oh, my God.
But you know what's there that would interest you? The proving grounds. I think it used to be Chrysler or Ford. It's this big, gigantic area where I guess they test the cars.
Oh.
Yeah, and that probably is why he moved out there, because he was like you. He loved cars.
Huh.
Yeah. So.
Do they still do the testing out there?
I think so, yeah. I'll show you on Google Earth when after we're done. I guess we're done. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Larry.
Go to Sunrise Automotive, get your car worked on. Maintained is the key word right there. Matt can do that all for you. He does it for me, and he's fair, and he's quick and honest. He's got 2 locations. One is on 10th, and where's the other one? Is it not open yet?
We're working on. It's open. We're there. We're getting everything scheduled. It's right behind Prestige Auto Sales on 200.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
Personal care, we know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. We'll treat you right.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. The first named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season formed 12 days early. Subtropical storm Andrea formed yesterday in the Atlantic between Bermuda and the Bahamas. The storm is not expected to threaten Florida. Officials at Zoo Miami say a young African painted dog was killed when a gate collapsed on her. Sheriff's officials are investigating the death of a man outside a mosque in Tampa. Investigators believe the victim and the suspect knew each other. The Florida Highway Patrol has arrested a 26-year-old man who they say fled the scene of a hit-and-run crash that killed a woman who was a passenger in his car in Kissimmee. A Florida judge yesterday ruled that prosecutors cannot use surveillance video in a case related to the solicitation case of New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft. And a former Disney World employee is accused of stealing thousands of dollars worth of property from backstage areas, including costumes from the Haunted Mansion animatronics. And that is your news brief from The Source.
Plenty of sunshine expected for the day on Tuesday. Not too bad out there for outdoor activities. Highs in the upper 80s to mid 90s. Your Tuesday night will be clear, lows of 65 to 70. Again, sunshine for Wednesday, highs of 85 to 94. And again, we're in the 80s and 90s Thursday with sunshine and a few clouds, breezy, highs from the mid 80s to low 90s. From the Florida Weather Center,